PlayStation and Xbox, man. We we got some stuff to talk about today. Now, I know I'm going to upset some people because I got a love and hate relationship with the Xbox community. For some reason, it feels like I can only speak my opinion on when it's convenient for the Xbox brand. Here's some criticism, Xbox. Get ready, pull up a chair, grab some popcorn, and we about to go at it, man. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here, coming at you another video. Today we're going to be talking about Xbox needs to step it up in terms of how they compete. Now, I know what I'm about to see a bunch of the comment section is Addict. I don't want Microsoft and Xbox to just act like PlayStation. Guess what, bruh? Neither do I. I don't want that either. But at the same time, I want a more close competition. I want to see PlayStation consider Xbox tough competition. What am I talking about? Talking about timed exclusives. Talking about regular, full-blown exclusives. Xbox does do this to a degree, and I do feel like a lot of it is revolved around Game Pass. I feel like since they got Game Pass, they don't necessarily jump on this train as much as they used to. You got the Tomb Raider, the Rise Son of Rome. I don't think they do it as much as they used to. And, to a degree, you can agree that, maybe they don't need to. But we've seen PlayStation throughout the years have a very lackluster year, like this year. And they fill it to the brim. Till that cup is full with some timed exclusives. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hell, you could even count, Baldur's Gate 3 to a degree. Black Wukong. Even though that a lot of these scenarios wasn't necessarily PlayStation and, Black Wukong, we don't know what happened there. I still think there was some kind of behind the door handshake going on. I don't know. Can't prove it, but that's just my opinion on the matter. You got Helldivers. They helped back that game. You got Silent Hill 2, which ended up being a huge success. And then when you look at stuff like this, it's just like, come on, man. Like, clearly, this is a good practice. I think we can agree on that. Clearly, this is a good practice. Because PlayStation has been eating forever doing this stuff. And so did PlayStation at one point. I mean, Xbox at one point. Now, look, am I saying that Xbox needs to go out there and secure everything as a timed exclusive? No. But I do think they need to be a little bit more aggressive on bigger IPs. Even if it doesn't come to Game Pass, just having it on your platform would, one, show that you still care about the hardware to a degree. I think a lot of the Xbox community, the people that don't think everything Xbox does is right, are a little concerned with the future of Xbox. Because you look at this stuff and it's just like, don't see a lot of emphasis behind their actual console. You see it on their ecosystem, and it feels like everyone gets some type of fruit but the Xbox console. PC gets exclusives all the time. Hell, at this point, the exclusives that do matter, they go to PlayStation. And now, PlayStation's getting Xbox exclusives. So it's just like everything that used to make that hardware very enticing to buy. Very impulsive to buy. I feel like it's becoming less and less. And you're seeing it with the sales. We got to see what the holiday sales are going to be this year. And hopefully they will improve. I do generally believe that Call of Duty coming into Game Pass is going to be really big for them. I think it's going to be one of those scenarios where you finally see a huge growth in Game Pass and consoles. Because, Call of Duty, if there's a game that you're going to push, just the marketing alone will sell you consoles. So you got that. It's just like, I just get annoyed when people push back on this because you see so many practices that are successful at this. And then instead of just saying, yeah, Xbox needs to improve on this, go after bigger titles, lock some of these down, pay a little bit extra money to get on Game Pass. The biggest criticism I have from people is we don't want PlayStation to be like Sony. Or we don't want Xbox to be like PlayStation. I don't know how I said that. But, what all this came from. I went on a little rant because pretty much this video is just going to be about Xbox competing in areas that they used to that they no longer do. But what was the straw on the camel's back? First off, it was the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You got the Silent Hill 2 that's doing good. You know, for the most part, PlayStation is picking the correct horses. And maybe that's something that Microsoft needs to improve on in general, and Xbox, because it doesn't matter if you lock down stuff. If you don't lock down the right games, you might have an issue. Congrats on them for doing the metaphor thing. You know, Xbox backed metaphor, and it's looking like it's definitely going to pay off for them in the terms of just like brand recognition. But let's jump over here to this. Now, for those of you that don't know, there's a game that is called Crimson Desert. Now, it's everywhere. If you keep track of this stuff, you pretty much see it. I think we can all agree all this stuff is everywhere. And there's been a lot of a lot of back and forth in the community, in the gaming community, that kind of like push the narrative that PlayStation is above doing timed exclusives, which I've been very vocal for years saying that it is okay to lock stuff down. I don't have an issue with consoles and companies locking stuff down, because to me, I understand it's business. You need to do it. My issue is when only one person's not doing it, but Nintendo's still doing it, PlayStation's still doing it, and Xbox is to a degree, but I feel like they can do it a lot better. So let's read this. So it's like I said, there's a game called Crimson Sky. We Abyss spent a lot of time considering our strategy release. Sony has essentially seen the entire game and expressed interest in publishing it, offering several favorable terms if we had gone with Sony as a publisher. The game would have been exclusive to PlayStation for a year with no release on Xbox, and PC distribution rights would belong to Sony. So pretty much they would decide when the game goes to PC. Despite these restrictions, Sony's marketing power and variety of unique incentives were appealing. However, after evaluating the expected sales and the revenue sharing structure, we decided that we just going to self-publish would be more beneficial. It's 99% of certain that we will self-publish our games ourselves. Recently, Stella Blade, which is interesting that another developer is talking about Stella Blade, signed an exclusive deal with Sony, but that was mainly because they didn't have the necessary publishing team, unlike us. In typical contracts, 30% of revenue goes to the platform fees, and the remaining 70% is split between the developer and the publisher. Since we already have the capability to self-publish globally and have overseas branches, we concluded that using our own resources is more, they pretty much get more of an advantage doing that. So pretty much what that says is they looked at it and said, look, as much as that would actually be really nice, we don't see the reason why we particularly would have to do that. You know, you can make the same argument about Square Enix. You know, a bag is a bag. If they would have made that bag big enough, they probably would have considered it a little bit more. I do think that most likely one of the reasons that they were really hesitant on this and ended up ultimately not going with it is the fact that they would have had to give PC distribution rights for the PC platform to Sony. I think this is the kind of structure game that does the best on PC. And even though it would have sold a lot on PlayStation, I think it would have more legs on PC. And I don't think that, this company specifically wanted to give PlayStation and Sony that much power over them, which I respect that in the end. Look, I just want Xbox to do better. I want Xbox to be on a really good advantage slot. And in my eyes, they don't need as much timed exclusivity because of how much they've invested into their own first party, third party. And maybe they don't need it at all because they're no longer worrying about the console itself. But they're still selling it. They came out openly saying that they want to sell it. So to me, you need to do stuff in the industry to make it more enticing for people to buy. That's just me. When it comes down to it, everything is off of what can I get from it? Is there anything that's going to be really good for me to have from it? And to me, if you do not go out here and you secure these massive third parties, you don't have to do a lot. Hell, you don't even have to do them every year. Just that there's a game that you think's gonna hit off. Lock that shit down. Imagine right now, and I know that, you know, people are gonna disagree on this. Imagine if Metaphor was an exclusive to Xbox and PC. And I don't know if this is on Switch. It could have been on Switch, just not PlayStation. Because I think, you know, PlayStation has no problem locking stuff out on the Xbox platform. Just imagine if they were able to secure something like Metaphor. Brand new IP, maybe Atlas wasn't 100%, you know, comfortable with the development throughout the entire process. And, you know, they were willing to take that kind of conversation with Microsoft and Xbox. It would be really good for them. Now, I understand the bulk of these sales are coming from PlayStation and PC and Switch if it's on it. But the sales aren't really relevant to when you're trying to get people to buy your console. And I understand people are like, but Addict, they're not selling. Yeah, because they don't have enticing titles every 3 to 6 months to get people consistently into the brand. Now, I do think Call of Duty is going to be significant. And it's going to be relevant. It's going to get a lot of stuff done. But you do need to go above and beyond Xbox and compete in ways that you used to. You don't got to do it all the time. You know, I think your marketing's came down a little bit. You know, you still market stuff, but I don't think you market nearly as much third-party stuff as you used to. You know, maybe you won't necessarily need to market anything now that you cut Call of Duty. Call of Duty is so big. People don't understand how big Call of Duty is. But that's it for the video, guys. You know, I just want Xbox to do better. Is this the right way? I don't know. This is just an influence on the internet, giving his opinion on something that he's been observing for the past few years. I've been making content since 2014, 10 years. 10 years. And I will be the first one to tell you, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to the industry. Sometimes I guess stuff right, sometimes I guess stuff wrong. I'm one of you guys. I just talk in front of a camera. But anyway, put in the comment section below what you guys feel about this. Do you feel that this is something maybe old Xbox did, but the current and the future Xbox doesn't necessarily need? Or do you think maybe they need to be doing this a little bit more? Maybe you think they need to just go full blown and do this. I'm kind of curious to hear your guys' opinion in the comment section below. Definitely put it in the comment section. I'm definitely going to read that. Once again, I want to thank everyone for coming through. You guys were very supportive this month. If you guys enjoyed any of these videos, definitely hit that like button. It's always appreciated. You can always sub to the channel for weekly content. And definitely go down there in the description, man. I got my Addict Arena. I'm going to be streaming here a lot more. Probably not going to stream today, but we're going to stream the rest of the week, the rest of the month, essentially. But I appreciate everyone coming through. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace. Man, I just want those moments. And I feel like a lot of those is third parties. We know a lot of the first party roadmap from Xbox right now. Oh, well.